The galaxy awakens. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, a myriad of species had formed an intergalactic alliance known as the Galactic Concordance. For centuries, they had maintained peace and prosperity across the stars, their advanced technologies allowing them to traverse the cosmos with ease. However, there was one species that had long been a source of unease for the Concordance: humans. Hailing from the small, unremarkable planet of Earth, humans had proven to be an unpredictable and sometimes troublesome presence since their discovery by the galactic community. While not openly hostile, humans had a reputation for being fiercely independent, resisting attempts by the Concordance to bring them into the fold. They were seen as too aggressive, too curious for their own good, and too willing to push the boundaries of what was considered acceptable. As a result, the Concordance had made the decision to confine humans to their own solar system, imposing strict limitations on their ability to travel beyond the boundaries of Earth's orbit. This quarantine, as it came to be known, was enforced by a fleet of advanced warships constantly patrolling the perimeter. For decades, this arrangement had held, with humans grudgingly accepting their lot while still yearning to explore the stars. The Concordance, for its part, was content to keep a watchful eye on Earth from a distance, intervening only when necessary to prevent human interference in galactic affairs. All that changed when the reports started coming in. Earth had gone silent. No transmissions, no signals, no indication of any human activity at all. At first, the Concordance leadership assumed it was a technical glitch, a temporary interruption in the constant flow of data they monitored from the human homeworld. But as the silence stretched from days into weeks, a sense of unease began to grow. Speculation ran rampant through the halls of power. Had some calamity befallen the humans? Had they finally destroyed themselves, as some had long predicted? Or was this some kind of trick, a ploy to lull the galaxy into a false sense of security? Urgent meetings were convened. Heated debates raged behind closed doors. Some argued for sending an immediate investigation to Earth to determine the fate of the humans once and for all. Others counseled caution, warning that any interference could be seen as a violation of the quarantine agreement. In the end, a compromise was reached. A single recon vessel, heavily shielded and equipped with the most advanced stealth technology, would be dispatched to Earth. Its mission: to observe and report back, without engaging or revealing its presence. As the ship departed, streaking silently through the interstellar void, the eyes of the galaxy were upon it. The fate of humanity, and perhaps the future of the Concordance itself, rested on the outcome of its journey. In the glittering capitals of 1,000 worlds, the question hung unspoken in the air: what had happened to Earth? And what would be the consequences for the galaxy if the answer was not to their liking? Only time would tell, as the recon ship sped onward, carrying the weight of the galaxy's fears and hopes into the unknown depths of space towards the silent world of humanity's birth. Shadows of Earth. The recon vessel emerged from subspace at the edge of Earth's solar system, its sleek hull glistening in the faint light of the distant sun. On board, the crew, a hand-picked team of the Concordance's finest, prepared to carry out their mission. As they approached Earth, they immediately noticed something amiss. Where there should have been a constant chatter of radio signals, a bright web of lights marking the cities and space stations of humanity, there was only an eerie silence and darkness. Cautiously, the ship moved into a low orbit, powerful sensors scanning the surface for any signs of life. What they found sent a chill through even the most hardened among them. The planet was dark, its cities lifeless husks. No vehicles moved on the roads, no ships sailed the seas. It was as if every human had simply vanished, leaving behind a world frozen in time. Perplexed and increasingly alarmed, the crew set about trying to unravel the mystery. They sent drones to investigate key locations, government centers, military bases, scientific institutions. Everywhere, the story was the same. Abandoned buildings, equipment left running with no sign of the operators, an emptiness that seemed to swallow every sound. As they collected more data, however, a pattern began to emerge. While the surface was devoid of human activity, there were strange energy readings coming from deep underground, concentrated in a few key locations spread across the planet. Focusing their scans on these anomalies, the crew discovered something incredible. Beneath the abandoned cities, vast subterranean complexes had been constructed, shielded from detection by some unknown technology. And within these complexes, there were signs of intense activity, vast amounts of power being consumed, complex machinery operating at full capacity. It was as if the entire human population had retreated underground. But for what purpose? The readings hinted at scientific work on an unprecedented scale, advanced research into fields the Concordants had only begun to theorize about. Determined to find answers, the crew selected one of the underground sites for closer examination. With great caution, they maneuvered their ship into position above it, extending sensors and probes to try to penetrate the shielding. What they found defied belief. The technology being employed was generations ahead of anything the Concordants possessed, materials and designs that shouldn't have been possible according to known physical laws. It was as if the humans had made a sudden, incredible leap forward, leaving the rest of the galaxy behind. As the crew struggled to make sense of their discovery, a sudden burst of energy from the site below nearly overwhelmed their shields. Alarms blared as the ship rocked, its sensitive equipment overloaded by the surge. Shaken, the mission commander gave the order to withdraw. Whatever the humans were doing down there, it was beyond their ability to comprehend, let alone interfere with. They needed to report back to the Concordance leadership to share what they had learned and decide on a course of action. As the recon vessel pulled away from Earth, the crew couldn't shake a sense of foreboding. They had set out to solve a mystery, but had instead uncovered a secret that could shake the galaxy to its core. Earth, it seemed, had not fallen silent out of weakness or collapse. Rather, the humans had deliberately withdrawn, focusing their efforts on some great undertaking hidden beneath the surface of their world. And now, with their presence revealed, the crew of the recon ship couldn't help but wonder, what would humanity's next move be? And would the galaxy be ready for it when it came? Whispers in the void. News of the recon mission's findings spread like wildfire through the halls of the Concordance. In council chambers and on the bridges of starships, the shocking truth was repeated in hushed tones. The humans had not vanished, but were instead engaged in some secret project of immense scale and sophistication. Fear and paranoia gripped the galactic community as speculation ran rampant about the nature and purpose of the human endeavor. Some spoke of new weapons of unimaginable power, doomsday devices that could threaten the very fabric of the universe. Others whispered of forbidden technologies, the stuff of ancient legends and dark prophecies. As the debates raged, disturbing reports began to filter in from the fringes of known space. Ships claimed to have detected strange signals emanating from the void beyond the galactic rim. Transmissions in no known language that seemed to be coming from no discernible source. Even more unsettling were the stories of ghost ships, vessels that appeared on the edge of sensor range only to vanish again, as if slipping in and out of reality itself. Faced with growing unease and the potential for panic to spread, the Concordance leadership called for an emergency summit of all member species. In a grand assembly hall on the capital world, representatives from 1,000 civilizations gathered to discuss the crisis and decide on a course of action. The debate was fierce, with many calling for an immediate military response. They argued that the humans' actions posed an existential threat to the galactic order, that their secret project could not be allowed to continue unchecked. Others counseled restraint, warning that any aggressive move could provoke the very catastrophe they sought to prevent. As the deliberations stretched on, a group of hardliners within the Concordance security apparatus were already taking action. Convinced that the only path was one of decisive force, they quietly assembled a task force of their most advanced warships and set out for Earth, determined to confront the humans and put an end to their schemes once and for all. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to the armada speeding towards Earth, another mission was already in motion. A small, elite team had been dispatched to infiltrate one of the underground human complexes, tasked with gathering intelligence and, if possible, sabotaging whatever project was underway. As the infiltration team approached Earth, they marveled at the effectiveness of their stealth technology. Their ship, a sleek black dart bristling with advanced sensors and countermeasures, slipped through the darkness undetected, a ghost among the stars. Guided by the data gathered by the initial recon mission, they zeroed in on their target, a vast subterranean installation buried deep beneath the surface of one of Earth's great deserts. As they descended through the planet's atmosphere, the ship's AI worked overtime to mask their signature, blending seamlessly into the background radiation. Touching down in the sand a few clicks from the complex entrance, the team disembarked, checking their weapons and gear with practiced efficiency. Each was a master of infiltration and covert ops, hand-selected for this mission based on their unique skills and experience. As they approached the massive blast doors that marked the threshold of the human facility, a sense of trepidation hung in the air. They were about to step into the unknown, to confront a mystery that had the entire galaxy on edge. Whatever they found inside, they knew, would likely determine the future course of galactic history. With a final nod, the team leader signaled to proceed. The doors, seemingly impenetrable, parted before them like water, the human technology recognizing and accepting the forged credentials they presented. Taking a deep breath, the infiltrators stepped over the threshold, into the heart of humanity's greatest secret, unsure of what they would find but determined to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. The veil lifted. As the infiltration team made their way deeper into the sprawling underground complex, they marveled at the sheer scale and sophistication of the human construction. Vast chambers, some kilometers across, hummed with activity, filled with equipment and machinery beyond their comprehension. It was as if they had stepped into a different universe, one where the laws of physics and the limits of technology had been rewritten. Guided by their suits' advanced sensors, they navigated through the labyrinthine corridors, avoiding patrols and automated security systems with practiced ease. Their goal was the central control room, where they hoped to access the mainframe and uncover the secrets of the human project. As they drew closer to their target, they began to notice something strange. The human personnel they encountered seemed to be in a state of heightened activity, rushing about with an air of urgency and excitement. It was as if they were preparing for something, some great event or undertaking. Intrigued, the team pressed on, finally reaching the doors to the control room. To their surprise, they found them unlocked and unguarded, as if inviting them to enter. Cautiously, they stepped inside, weapons at the ready. What they found took their breath away. The room was a vast spherical chamber, its walls lined with screens and control panels. In the center, a holographic display shimmered, showing a stunningly detailed map of the galaxy. And all around, humans worked at their stations, monitoring data flows and adjusting controls with an air of quiet intensity. As the team watched in amazement, the pieces began to fall into place. The advanced technology, the secret preparations, the mysterious signals from the void. It all made sense now. The humans had not been building weapons or plotting conquest. They had been preparing for a journey. The realization hit the infiltrators like a thunderbolt. Humanity had achieved the impossible. They had unlocked the secrets of faster-than-light travel. Not just the crude, limited warp drives used by the Concordants, but true mastery over the fabric of space and time. The ghost ships, the strange transmissions, these were the signs of their test flights, their first forays into the uncharted reaches of the cosmos. But that was only the beginning. As they delved deeper into the human database, the team discovered other marvels. Artificial gravity, advanced propulsion systems, energy shields that could withstand the fury of a supernova, and most incredible of all, a form of artificial intelligence so advanced it bordered on the godlike, capable of managing entire star systems and predicting the course of galactic evolution. It became clear that the humans had not been idle during their long isolation. They had been working tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of science and technology in pursuit of a single overriding goal: to break free from the confines of their solar system and take their place among the stars. As the magnitude of the human achievement sank in, the infiltrators were torn between awe and terror. On one hand, the prospect of such advanced beings joining the galactic community was breathtaking, the potential for progress and discovery beyond imagining. On the other, the idea of a species with such godlike capabilities, unconstrained by the laws and treaties of the Concordance, was deeply unsettling. Lost in thought, the team failed to notice the silent alarm their intrusion had triggered. It was only when the doors to the control room slammed shut, locking them inside, that they realized their mistake. On the screens all around, human faces turned towards them, expressions of surprise and anger flickering across their features. The team leader stepped forward, hands raised in a gesture of peace. They had come too far, learned too much, to resort to violence now. But as they opened their mouth to speak, to try to explain, a voice cut through the air, calm and measured but laced with an undercurrent of steel. Well, it said, as a figure stepped out from behind the central console. It seems we have some uninvited guests. I suppose it was only a matter of time before the Concordance sent someone to spy on us. But I'm afraid you've made a grave miscalculation. As the figure stepped into the light, the team leader's eyes widened in recognition. They had seen that face before, in the history books and news archives of 100 worlds. It was a face that had become a symbol of humanity's defiance, their refusal to bend to the will of the galaxy. Captain HFY Sci-Fi, the team leader breathed, a mix of fear and respect in their voice. So it's true. You are behind all this, behind humanity's great leap forward. The captain smiled, a thin, razor-sharp expression that held no warmth. Not just me, she said, but all of us, every man, woman, and child on Earth, working together towards a common goal. A goal that we have now achieved, despite the best efforts of the Concordance to keep us in our place. She took a step forward, her gaze boring into the infiltrators. And now, I'm afraid, you have a choice to make. You can either join us and be part of the greatest adventure in human history, or you can stand in our way and face the consequences. But know this, humanity will not be denied its destiny. Not by you, not by the Concordance, not by anyone. We are ready to take our rightful place among the stars, and heaven help anyone who tries to stop us. Humanity unbound. In the depths of space, a fleet of ships hung in the void, poised on the brink of history. They were sleek, silver darts, their hulls adorned with the sigils of the human race, a stylized representation of Earth, cradled in a pair of upswept wings. On their bridges, men and women in crisp uniforms stood at their stations, eyes fixed on the view screens before them. At the center of the formation, on the bridge of the flagship, Captain HFY Sci-Fi sat in her command chair, her face a mask of determination. Around her, her crew worked with quiet efficiency, making final preparations for the momentous undertaking ahead. All systems ready, Captain, her first officer reported, his voice taut with anticipation. The fleet is in position and awaiting your orders. HFY nodded, her gaze never leaving the screen. On it, a map of the galaxy rotated slowly, the myriad stars and systems of the Concordance rendered in shimmering holographic detail. At its center, a pulsing red dot marked the location of the human fleet, a tiny spark of light against the vast emptiness of space. It's time, she said, her voice calm and measured. Initiate the jump. Across the fleet, a ripple of activity passed through the ships as the order was relayed. On each vessel, powerful engines thrummed to life, exotic energies swirling and coalescing around their hulls. And then, in a flash of blinding light, they vanished, slipping out of normal space and into the strange, twisted realm of hyperspace. Moments later, they emerged, 1,000 points of light blossoming into existence above the worlds of the Concordance. On 100 planets, in 1,000 cities, people looked up in wonder and fear as the night sky was suddenly filled with new stars, bright and unwavering. In the great halls of the Concordance, chaos reigned as alarms blared and sensors screamed warnings of the sudden appearance of the human fleet. A new galactic dawn. As the shock of the human fleet's sudden appearance reverberated through the Concordance, Captain Ashera Santheri stood on the bridge of her flagship, gazing out at the stars. On the view screen before her, the faces of the Concordance leadership stared back, expressions ranging from anger to fear to reluctant admiration. Captain Santheri, the Concordance Prime Minister, spoke, her voice tight with barely controlled emotion. Your actions are a clear violation of the Quarantine Agreement. You have willfully defied the authority of this council and placed the entire galaxy at risk. Explain yourself before we are forced to take drastic action. Ashera met the Prime Minister's gaze calmly, unflinching in the face of the implied threat. Madam Prime Minister, she replied, her voice clear and strong. For centuries, humanity has been held back, confined to a single world, while the rest of the galaxy enjoyed the fruits of the cosmos. We were deemed too unpredictable, too dangerous to be allowed free rein among the stars. She paused, letting her words sink in. But in that confinement, we did not stagnate. We did not wither away. Instead, we turned our energies inward, focusing on unlocking the secrets of the universe. And now we stand before you not as prisoners or suppliants, but as equals, as partners in the great adventure of discovery and exploration that awaits us all. There was a moment of silence as the Concordance leaders absorbed her words. Then, a murmur of conversation broke out, hushed and urgent. Finally, the Prime Minister spoke again, her tone measured and cautious. Captain, she said, while we may have had our differences in the past, the Concordance is not unreasonable. If humanity truly wishes to join us as equals, we are willing to listen. But there must be assurances, guarantees that your advanced technologies will not be used to threaten or dominate the other species of the galaxy. Ashera nodded, a smile touching her lips. Of course, she said, we have no desire for conquest or domination. Our only wish is to take our rightful place among the stars, to share in the wonders and challenges that the universe has to offer. And to that end, we come bearing gifts. She gestured, and a stream of data began to flow across the view screen. Schematics, formulae, detailed plans for advanced propulsion systems, energy matrices, artificial intelligence algorithms. The sum total of humanity's great leap forward, offered freely to the Concordance. We offer these freely, as a sign of our good faith, Ashera said, a foundation upon which we can build a new galactic order, one in which all species have the opportunity to reach their full potential. There was a long pause as the Concordance leaders conferred among themselves, their expressions shifting from surprise to calculation to grudging respect. Finally, the Prime Minister turned back to Ashera, a wry smile on her face. Well played, Captain, she said. It seems we may have underestimated humanity. Perhaps it is time for a new beginning, a new era of cooperation and shared discovery. Ashera inclined her head, acknowledging the compliment. We look forward to it, Madame Prime Minister, to a future bright with promise for all the peoples of the galaxy. As the communication ended, Ashera turned to her crew, pride shining in her eyes. We did it, she said softly. We've opened the door to a new future for Earth and for the entire galaxy. And whatever challenges lie ahead, we will face them together, as one united human race among the stars. And with that, the fleet began to move, dispersing to the far corners of the galaxy, each ship a shining beacon of humanity's indomitable spirit, ready to embrace the unknown wonders that awaited them in the vast expanse of the cosmos. A new dawn had broken over the galaxy, and the universe would never be the same.